Next question is a 2-minute question. It starts with Dave Caporale. It was announced last week that the county is moving forward with condemning the current privately owned water system in Bel Air. Do you agree with this approach? And how can the county ensure that there is a balance achieved between providing relief to the residents of Bel Air without passing a large tax burden to the other communities? Dave?
Well, we just continued this conversation. We had a meeting earlier today with Congresswoman Delaney, who has been involved, very willing to help. We have news from the governor's office that they are willing to help as well. But I think these are the steps that we have to take going forward. There have been no other easy answers. As was discussed, we were meeting with Maryland Water, discussing the possibilities of what we could do moving forward. And then the next week we found out that American Water was purchasing the system. So we're being stuck in the middle of a purchase may or may not complicate the issue, but I think going forward what we have to do is look at a way for the county to absorb this system. It only makes sense. I believe as of right now we operate 85% of the water systems in the county. So between you have Pinto, Bel Air, Glen Oaks, and then Highland Estates. How can we absorb that? Would it be with a bond issue moving forward, and then it'd be paid off over time? And the other thing is, we cannot figure out how the Public Service Commission has signed off on this. Did they cheat on their numbers or what? Because I don't think that you can. So we had speculated if they have not had enough maintenance that there's a significant amount of water loss and they're just passing that on to consumers, or if there was a lot of maintenance put in and they're also passing that on to the consumers. The advantage that we have, if we had the system, if and when, we will be able to get ADA money. We will be able to get federal assistance. We will be able to get state assistance to upgrade it if necessary. But our fear is that as long as this continues, the existing company will not address those issues. And when we do upgrades, we are also eligible for 80% of assistance from MDE. So there's a different factor for us as far as running the water system. And I think in our system, too, we run the water to break even. We don't run it for a profit. These companies run it for a profit.
Thank you, Dave. Leona?
I think the county absolutely has to absorb the water in that area. I talk to people every week whenever I co-host trivia night at Lash Balls on Wednesdays, and majority of them are living in that area. And I had a gentleman tell me that he is scared to death to get his water bill because he had to flush his toilet 20 times in one night preparing for a colonoscopy. So when you have that kind of concern, the county needs to take action on that. And I mean, here's the thing, it is not an easy problem to solve. Believe me, the tenants there understand that. They know it's not easy, but what they want is they do want a resolution, and it is our responsibility as a county to make that happen. Now, it is my understanding that those pipes in the ground there are also old and aging, and we really don't know the condition of those pipes. So once we take over, we may need additional funds also to replace that piping. But again, you know, step by step, I believe the eminent domain process is the first step in getting this problem to a resolution. But they need help. They really do. Thank you.
Thank you, Leona. Dee Dee?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure how the water system got that bad. I've heard people coming into the county for, I don't know, more than a year complaining about their water bills. And, I mean, right now they're finally taking steps to do something about it. It's ridiculous. I mean, I couldn't afford to pay a $400 or $500 water bill a month. And I've looked at the various water rates all over Alleghany County and the city, and I'm not even sure how they calculate how much they charge for water. It's mostly surcharges and such. But anyway, the county definitely needs to take over that system. If they have to condemn it, then we have to condemn it. If we have to eat those costs and help these people out, then we have to eat the costs. But, you know, like I think Dave said, there's all kinds of state and federal grants out there. And the District 6 legislators have been very helpful in helping this area out. But I think we need to do everything in our power to take over that water system and help those people out.
Thank you, Dee Dee. Bill?
Yeah, not sure there's much to add to that. We are in the process of doing a resolution to condemn the water system. That's the first step in doing an eminent domain. I have worked through the eminent domain process when I worked for the State Department of Planning in the Frederick County area. I will tell everybody, and I've told everybody this in Bel Air, it is not an easy process, and it's not a quick process. And it's going to be painful waiting to try to get this done. The hope is once we condemn the property, that the water companies will come to us and be willing to take this out of the piece, because this is one small piece of 12 different entities they're buying, other water companies. So this will put a little bit of a wrench into their plans. So the hope is that when we do that, that they'll be willing to come to the negotiating table and we can work out a reasonable price for purchasing it. And again, working with our federal partners and state partners, we will need considerable amount of money and then to upgrade that system. Again, I think Commissioner Caporale said it best. How did the Public Service Commission and again the state allow this to get this far out of whack? There was really no answer to that, and they really have no one they answer to. So there's no reason. We tried going to them first. They basically said they do what they do, and that's it. So we're going to continue on our path that we started. Condemnation first. Hopefully we can get them to the table. If not, then we'll go into eminent domain, and that takes you through the court systems, and that's going to take some time. So hopefully we can resolve this before it gets that far down the line.
Thank you, Bill. Seth?
Yeah, I think that the current approach that has just now been started, I think that's the best long-term solution for these communities. So, you know, while I applaud the commissioners for taking this step, I have to wonder why it took so long. You know, I know that over a year ago, these communities requested a meeting with the commissioners, and it took 7 months for them to finally sit down. And only 2 of the 3 commissioners were there for this meeting. So because of this, this is one of the reasons why I feel that the county needs better results-oriented leadership. But I also know that this process is not going to be easy, and I know that when elected, this is going to be probably one of the most challenging issues that the commissioners are going to have to face, but I am absolutely up for that challenge.
Thank you, Seth. Creede?
Yes, I agree with condemnation. The reason the county waited so long to take action, we really didn't wait long, is we was hoping the legislature was going to be able to fix this. Our goal was to hope that the governor would order a Public Service Commission to rehear this case immediately, which he could have. And then Mike was trying to get an emergency bill in. We was hoping the legislature, because at the end of the day, the county has no jurisdiction over a private water company. It is a privately owned water company. What they're doing is heinous. It is absolutely horrendous to the people out there. Their water bills are ranging from $200 to over $1,000 a month. None of us want to see that. And we've talked to everyone and tried to put as much pressure on Maryland Water as we could. Now, the way the law is set up, so if you have a water system and you borrow money or debt against that system, it's paid back by the users of that system. So we're trying to push them into a negotiation, but we want to make sure that it doesn't flip the wrong way, because the price they initially come back at us at was $20 million. Well, if we have to borrow that and divide that by the amount of users, their water bill would actually go up if they didn't even use water. So we want to be real careful here. The good thing is there's been so much light brought to this that the state and federal ones, everyone is stepping up, because I can assure you that was put in the 60s and 70s. It's ready for an upgrade. Its 50-year life is lived and passed. So thank you.
Thank you, Creede.
Candidates will have 2 minutes for closing remarks. We're going to start with Leona.
Okay. I know our county has its challenges, but I also know our county's potential. And this is where we need to work with the public. We need to work with our community and our community leaders. One is that we have a lot of obstacles to bringing industry and business to our area. I can tell you Maryland has some of the strongest environmental standards that significantly limits where large land-intensive facilities can be placed. We have beautiful but steep terrain, and we also have wetlands. I also believe in fiscal responsibility. I believe in priority spending. That is going to be a big goal of mine if I'm elected. When I look at priority spending, I'm going to be looking at three things. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to look, does it meet a core county responsibility? Does it support public safety or economic growth? And is it a smart long-term investment? If a proposal that comes my way doesn't meet those standards, it shouldn't be considered. And I believe that looking at our spending, looking on what we are spending on, and what we're budgeted for is extremely important in this position. During my first 90 days, that's exactly what I will be doing while I'm there 5 days a week. I will be looking at that spending. I'm going to go line by line, and I'm going to see exactly where our taxpayer money is being spent. And more importantly, I will communicate that to the public. If you want to be kept in the dark about how decisions are made and how your money is spent, then the incumbents will do exactly that. But if you want to keep moving forward and have a government that you can trust, then consider voting for me. In my years in Health and Human Services, I've always held managerial and supervisory positions. Ask anybody who has ever worked for me, and they will tell you that I'm a clear communicator, make informed decisions, and act with integrity. That's the leader I am. That's the leadership this county deserves. Thank you.
Thank you, Leona. Dee Dee?
Sure. First of all, thanks again for having me. I hope I've answered the questions from tonight's panel, but it's sometimes hard to answer questions spontaneously, but I tried, and if anybody wants to follow up with me, of course, please contact me. I want you all to know that improving Allegany County is my top priority. I have worked all over the state of Maryland, but the majority of my career was spent working in Allegany County and working with the community, nonprofits, local, state, federal, and county government. In my current role, serving Allegany County, I've worked hard not to talk about problems, but help deliver results. And I'm retiring from my job to be your full-time county commissioner. I spent the last few months listening to people all around the county, and what I hear are the same concerns. Economic uncertainty, we're losing our tax base, no decent and affordable housing, county budget crisis, and inability to fully fund public safety. And I've heard a lot of nobody even cares about our part of the county. I believe all of Allegany County deserves new leadership that's proactive, transparent, and focused on the future. And I believe we need to work together to fix the problems we are facing today. I am prepared to work hard, to listen to all citizens, and make decisions based on common sense, responsibility, and investment in our county. And I would be honored to have your vote to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee Dee.
All the way to the end, guys.
Bill?
Thank you. Well, I think through strategic partnerships that we have, through some smart investments, through a shared vision for growth, that we can build a stronger economic and a better quality of life for our community. We have added 300-plus jobs in the last 3.5 years, with 2 other industries looking to locate here in the near future. We have a stronger tax base now than we have had in years. We have new opportunities with housing that are coming on board, and we have sustainable projects for building a better future. So I think adding all that together, and then where do we go after that? We go to building new site pads in our development, in our industrial parks. They are getting full. So how do we create new ones? We're going to create some pads within the Barton Industrial Park so that they're ready for industry and business to come. I want to look at taking the airport, which is a vital piece of our community that's kind of not thought of a lot because it is in West Virginia, but it is a Maryland airport. We want to look at creating an industrial park out there. The upgrades to that airport are all near completion. They have created a lot of flat land out through there, so there's plenty of opportunities, we think, to start looking at Northrop Grumman and their supply chain and bringing some of that business and industry to the area. We do have the mill property that is in the process of being demolished. That will give us another flat piece of land with infrastructure already in place that we can continue to push towards economic development and have available for that. We continue to work trying to get more housing. We do think we need to look into senior living and a living complex for seniors who want to stay here. So we're going to continue that. We are going to be working with the Chamber to update our economic development plan, and we're going to continue to grow our existing businesses. So I think we have a great track record of what we've been able to accomplish. We want to continue to do that, and together we can grow into a place that we all love to live, work, and play.
Thank you, Bill. Seth.
Thanks to the Chamber for hosting this, and to all those up on stage with me tonight. Running for public office isn't always a glamorous task, not for the candidate or their families. It can expose you in ways that are often uncomfortable or unfair, but it can ultimately be a rewarding task if your ideas foster positive impacts. For me, that payoff would come by helping our county finally get out of its own way and stop retreading the same tired paths that have left us stagnant for so long. I truly believe that our biggest salvation is in the form of an economic growth model that is bold, efficient, but most importantly, inclusive. Imagine one voice around economic development, which encompasses the ideas and needs of every town and city across Allegany County, of our public school system and universities, and of our banking and private sector businesses, not competing against one another, but instead working together under one unified vision for growth, no matter who gets credit. Imagine a community that encourages its residents to live, work, and play all within walking distance. A responsible government that builds bridges and public infrastructure. And a county that's safe and healthy because its police and emergency workers have the tools that they need. The blueprint is there for economic growth. It's just going to take leaders who have the foresight and dedication to finally execute on it. If we build it, all the rest will come. So I hope that I can earn your trust and support to help fix a broken system and move our county forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Creede?
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having this. This job, and I've had it the longest of anybody up here, is extremely difficult and extremely hard. There's no 2 days that are alike. You never know what the day is going to bring. I mean, ever since I've been in this job, and I've been very, very thankful and fortunate I've got to serve with 4 fantastic boards. It's all been about economic development. That's what I feel like I was doing here tonight is going for a job interview. Essentially it is. But there's a lot more, and I mean a lot more, to county government than economic development. You have staff for that. If I was an economic development guru, that's what I would be doing every day of the week. If not, I'm running for county commissioner. I'm trying my best at everything. You know, we have a population of about 69,000. I'll bet you 31,000 of them is in my phone, because I talk to anyone at any given time. And what's the most important to someone is what's on their mind when they call you. It could be something big. It could be something as small as a ditch. So every problem, every issue is different. Regardless, I think everybody at this table up here, thank you guys, because it's been a good race. Appreciate everything. And Seth is right. Anyone that runs for office, you put everything you got out there. Your family, your background from day one is run through with a comb. It's not near as easy as it looks, and it's certainly a lot easier to be a Monday morning quarterback than it actually is to live it. But to do the job and run for the job and work for a job is very. It keeps me very busy. But thanks, everyone. I appreciate everyone coming out. But just know this: what's the most important to me is in Lordtown, and will always will be. So thank you.
Thank you. Dave.
Close it out, huh? Once again, I'd like to thank Allegany College, Allegany Radio, and the Chamber for this evening. You know, a year ago, the county experienced an enormous disaster and a huge challenge. But I knew immediately we would overcome the flood by the bravery of our first responders, who miraculously prevented any deaths in this disaster. And in the following days, friends, neighbors, and even strangers showed up from all over to help out. Allegany County was on the ground from day one to this day to help our friends in Georges Creek resume their lives and rebuild their community. We were very happy and pleased to have been there for the rededication of Westernport School last Saturday. Really a good feeling coming out of there. A great day. There have been questions raised about the county's relationships. I'm happy to report today that the county's relationships with their municipalities, school board, economic development have never been stronger because of the cooperation and shared vision of a better Allegany County. Years ago, there was little or no communication between these groups. Now Public Works have open lines. We're working with Frostburg on their Main Street redevelopment program, and their business park is almost full. Administrators meet frequently to discuss issues on how we can help, and economic development does the same, Stu. The days of fighting with the school board are over. They are our partners. Our relationships with Allegany College and Frostburg State have never been better. For these and many other reasons we covered this evening, I'm asking for your vote in June and November, and it is an honor to serve you, and I thank you for your continued support. Good night, everybody.
Thank you to each of our commissioner candidates, to Allegany Communications, Magic 100.5, Allegany College of Maryland, and to our panelists. As a reminder, early voting runs June 11th through 18th, 2026, and Election Day is June 23rd. Voting and election information can be found at elections.maryland.gov. The Allegany County Chamber of Commerce encourages everyone to vote and make informed decisions. Please give us a few minutes to transition to the next forum, and we'll be back with you in a few. Thank you.
This has been an exclusive presentation by Allegany Communications, the Allegany County Chamber of Commerce, and Magic 100.5, WDYK FM HD1 Ridgely, an Allegany Communications station. We're proud to call this home. Now back to Cumberland's greatest hits, Magic 100.5.